Please, I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I'm Courtney. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever the case may be for you. How are ya? Well, if you ask me the same question, it's going to be, that's a loaded question, but you didn't ask. However, of course, the whole point on this podcast is to tell you what's on my mind, to talk about what's keeping me up. So although you didn't ask, you kind of did when you decided to listen, right? All right. So first off, I got a little fired up, little crazy, raised my voice and stuff. I don't apologize for the things I said because I stand by them and I meant them. However, I probably shouldn't have phrased it the way I did. And honestly, like I said, I do not dislike or hate. I don't like the word hate. I started to say I hate the word hate. What a hypocrite I am. I don't like the word hate. I try not to say it, but I dislike very greatly how certain countries are treating their people. And I did not mean to imply, the one thing I will apologize for is I did not mean to imply that I dislike a bunch of people just because they're from a country that maybe is a little crazy right now. Because America, Lord knows America, is full of people that are behaving very poorly and behaving crazy. And our government is absolute crap. But it does not mean that the entire country and all of the people in the country are bad people or terrorists or murderers or stupid or anything like that. It means that there is a smaller percentage of people in this country that are maybe not so great. And the majority, though, are they do disagree with our government. They disagree with how our country is being ran. And I'm sure Canada and Australia and the UK and people in Iran and Palestine, there may be so many people in those countries, the majority of people in those countries probably very much dislike where their country is going right now. So I do apologize if I implied or, said that I didn't like the people. And then I mentioned France. And again, I don't get to claim that everybody in France is a butthead because that would be ignorant of me to say and rude of me to say. And so, of course, I just meant that I get tired of France as a whole looking down on America and not liking America, yet very much want to reap the rewards of America. Like when we bail you out of, say, wars and shit. That bothers me. But, and I would like to say that I've met a lot of French people I like, but so far I have not. But I'm not allowed. I've never really been around. I went to France. I was only there for 12 hours. I was outside and tootling around talking to people for 12 hours in Paris. And I have to be very, very honest with you. I didn't meet one necessarily nice person. Most people were rude and acted like they didn't have time for me and treated me like garbage. And the people that didn't treat me like garbage were just indifferent. And then, I've always lived in small towns, so we don't get a lot of people from France. So to be very honest, I haven't met anybody other than the one day for 12 hours I went to one city in France. I am sure that there has to be, obviously, statistically speaking, again, it'd be ignorant of me to say that a whole country is full of assholes. That's not the case. Even Palestine and Iran, I'm sure have some nice, wonderful people. Again, statistically speaking, they would, and logically speaking, they would. I don't like it when people say that America is full of a bunch of entitled white privileged people, because that's not the case. So I don't get to claim a country, an entire country, and its people are one way. I should phrase it better by saying I don't care for the fact that Canada, Australia, France, Iran, and all that really, well, not Iran so much, but talk a lot of smack about America and hate on America until they need us. And they usually do. And that annoys me. And especially when your countries are god awful right now and they're being ran into the ground and being taken over by monkeys. What's that saying? The inmates are running the prison or whatever. Yeah. So I will apologize for the fact that I may have alluded to the fact that I think that an entire country is full of butthead people. That is wrong of me. And honestly, every Canadian I've met, I've loved the country. Like I said, I think it is so frickin' beautiful. I can't stand snow. I really don't. But if I was going to live in a place that's snowy, I mean, Canada's gorgeous. And I've met many people from Canada, and they were quite lovely people. So again, I'm sure that the people that live in Canada right now are like, yeah, we also think our country's crazy. We're not too happy. In fact, I know for a fact there are people in Canada that are like, we freaking don't like this either. And we also think that it's being ran poorly, same with Australia and all that. So anyway, wanted to get that out. Wanted to get that off the table. But what is keeping me up as of late? So I don't know how I just found this out. This is where I am ignorant. This is where I'm very ignorant and uneducated, and I need to educate myself. I just found out that California passed a law in which you can have an abortion up to the day that you give birth. The day that you give birth, if you decide that you no longer want your child, you are allowed to murder. And that is what it is. It's murder. And I'm even pro-choice. I just want everybody to know that I'm pro-choice, but I'm on the fence. I see both sides. I don't think it should be used as birth control. I think that you shouldn't just have an abortion because, oops, I drank too much. I don't think that you should have an abortion because you just don't feel like using protection. I don't feel like you should have an abortion after 3 months. I still think it's a baby. I'm aware it's still a baby. I know I sound hypocritical. I get that there's a heartbeat, so I should just pick a side. But I really am torn because, of course, I do understand why people that have been raped or people that maybe if there is going to be a possibility of a health concern for the mother, then I get it. But I think it needs to be under very specific circumstances, and I don't think it should be after 3 months. But in California, I found out that you can have an abortion up until the day. Like when you're in labor, if you all of a sudden go, you know what, I suddenly decided I don't want to have a baby, and instead of having the baby and giving that baby up for adoption, I want to murder it to where that baby could wrap their hand around your finger. They could hold your finger. They're getting ready to be born. These doctors that perform this and the mother that decides this are murdering a child and should be thrown in jail. That should be murder, and you should be thrown in jail. But because the baby hasn't been born, they don't consider it murder. Funny how, though, if that same baby, if you have a miscarriage, they'll cry and be sad for the loss of life and consider it a baby then. These same people have called babies parasites. Parasites. And somehow the Republican Party is the hateful, mean, evil cult. You are talking about murdering a child that is about ready to be born and take a breath, that can grab your finger. They can grab onto your finger. And you are going to kill it, chop it up inside the mom, and then sell the body parts for stem cell research. And the Planned Parenthood loves this. They think it's great. They love killing children. So yeah, the Planned Parenthood is just completely on board with not only killing this child, but chopping up its body parts, which they can feel. They stab it in the head to kill it first, and then they chop up the body parts and then sell them for stem cell research. But we are deplorable. These same people also agree with terrorists, with people that behead people and post it on social media proudly and brag about beheading babies with garden hoses, raping women and children, and posting it on social media proudly. These same people support children cutting off their body parts and mutilating themselves and giving themselves hormone injections that severely mess up their bodies and are irreversible. These same children are for sex trafficking. And they're for sex trafficking because they are 100% pro open borders. They don't care that sex traffickers are coming in. They're allowing it. They want it. They promote it. They don't care about Oprah and Jeffrey Epstein's island and who was on it. They don't care about educating children because, again, in the state of Oregon, it's 100% okay to graduate high school without knowing how to spell or read or do basic math. That's totally okay. And you know why? Because they don't want the illegal immigrants that don't speak English or write English to feel, bad about themselves. So we're going to lower our standards to where nobody knows how to write or read, because we've got to keep our children stupid and ignorant so that when they go to college, they can groom them and they can tell them lies, and they're too ignorant to know the difference because they aren't educated. That's where we are right now. That's where we are right now, people. Why does nobody care that this is a group of people the Democratic Party, the far left, wants? I shouldn't say the far left and Democratic Party, because there is a difference. There's the far, far left, the ones that should all be in jail or dropped off. Like I said before, we should put parachutes on them, put them in a cargo plane, drop them off somewhere in the Middle East, see where they land, and see how they survive. Or just drop them off in Iran and Palestine and see how that goes. Drop them off in the Congo somewhere. Drop them off in Ukraine even. See how that goes. Or just drop them off on an island and have them have to survive without their guns that they think are so terrible. But so there is a difference between the far left and the Democratic Party, although it seems like the line's getting closer and closer, unfortunately. But the same group of people, like I said, want to keep our children ignorant and stupid so that we can fill their heads with a bunch of cult garbage and then try to say it's facts. They want everybody to be judgmental and racist and mean and fight. They want us all fighting all the time. They fight all the time. They're constantly protesting violently, not peacefully, violently. They're setting people's businesses on fire. They are stealing from people's businesses, stealing in general, beating up people for not believing what they believe. And now they're trying to prevent Jewish students that pay money to go to school. They're trying to prevent them by making a human shield and chanting completely racist, anti-Semitic things. And this is being encouraged by the dean and professors and community of these schools. It's being encouraged to be racist, to be anti-Semitic, to be hateful, to be violent, to be uneducated. And we're promoting not making a lot of money so that we can stay on government's help and keep the government sucking on their tit. And yet this is a group of people that somehow says they're peace-loving and kind and accepting and love children. In what world are any of those things kind and loving and peaceful and accepting? And in what world are those things good for children? In what world do we allow our children to be so sexualized and promote them to be sexual? I watched the Nickelodeon documentary, Quiet on the Set. You should watch it. I've seen the things that Disney has said and done and promoted. God, the garbage truck is out there and is crazy loud. I've seen and been watching Disney for many, many years, and they're disgusting. They hire pedophiles like it's nothing. They love themselves a good pedophile. So does Nickelodeon. And so somehow we're acting like we love our kids when we're also promoting single parents. We don't care if there's a dad around. We don't care. And we don't see that as a problem. We're like, go single moms. Well, yeah, go single moms or go single dads, because sometimes it's the mom that leaves. It's not always the dad. But it's not go single moms. Go single moms as in, hey, or go single parents, go single dads, parents, as in, yeah, I applaud you, as in you're doing it and you shouldn't have to. And I'm sorry for that. But we shouldn't encourage it and be like empowered by it. We need to be saddened by it and try to figure out what to do. And what we should do is we need to start, like everybody has been saying. I'm not the first person, the second person, or the 40th person to say this. I'm the millionth person to say it all starts with two parents being involved, paying attention to your kids, holding your kids accountable, making sure your kids are accountable, making sure that they have chores and hard work, but also get to be a kid and play and enjoy being a child, but have rules and boundaries. We need to encourage and support our children, but we definitely don't need to encourage things that are going to harm them. And we certainly should have them educated. We need to start doing things with their kids, like putting away the cell phones and going on a hike with them and having them go out and actually learn how to look people in the eye and speak to people and form sentences and be polite. We've stopped caring if our kids are polite and respectful. We seem to not be bothered by the fact that they're a bunch of entitled, lazy, spoiled brats. We seem to be completely unfazed by the fact that these kids know nothing. They don't know how to change a tire. They don't know how to jump a car. They don't know how to wash their clothes. They don't know how to fill out a resume or even apply for a job, it seems. They're useless, really. And they like to say, well, Generation X raised them. Actually, no, it's more the baby boomers, because it's the baby boomers that are the teachers right now, it seems. And it's the baby boomers that are professors right now. And it's our generation that's trying to say, hey, we don't want this. We want discipline. And then it's the other generation that they go out and, work for or go to school for that are like, no, we're peace-loving hippies. And it's everybody's fault. So it doesn't matter what generation you're from. It's obviously it's everybody's, any parent, myself included, that I can tell you, I can testify that I have one child that no meant no, and I followed through. And he has a much better head on his shoulders than my other, who I didn't follow through on. And I've admitted that. I'm like, I absolutely did not follow through all the time. I had so much going on. I had him at such a young age, and I had so much going on in my life, and I was a single mom. I was trying to work and go to school and have him and spend time with them. I was going through divorce. I was going through cancer. I was going through meningitis. I had my car breaking down. It was a lot. And so unfortunately, I let him get away with a heck of a lot more. And it shows. So again, this isn't news. I'm not saying anything that's mind-blowing. But a party that claims to be so kind and loving and accepting and loves children, I haven't seen any proof of that. I see nothing but it being okay to slaughter children, to mutilate children, to make sure that children are uneducated zombies that you guys can you can be the puppet master for. I see you being pro beheading children and raping children like Hamas did over in Israel, and then posted it, admitting they did this, showing they did this proudly, like bragging about it. And then people talk about Palestine as if they don't know anything, and it's sad. I posted the fact that I got a flag that is the American flag bled into the Israeli flag because I stand with Israel proudly. And I stand by the fact that if you don't, you are in fact either insanely uneducated and ignorant, and your professors and or parents have filled your head full of crap, and I feel very bad for you, or you're a terrorist. Those, in my eyes, are literally the only options if you support Palestine or Hamas or Iran. Anyway, this group of wonderful people have yet to ever even give a reason for not liking Trump other than, well, he's racist. And then you say, okay, how so? And then they can't come up with one shred of evidence. And I've noticed that no matter what, you see video after video, and I've experienced it myself. When you ask a Democrat a point blank question, a very, very easy question, I support Palestine. I support Palestine. Why? Well, because Israel's bad. Why? Well, 'cause Palestine's not bad. Israel bad. Palestine not bad. Me not know how to think. I don't like Trump. Why? Well, 'cause he's not Biden. Okay. But why do you like Biden? Well, 'cause he's not Trump. Oh, that's very deep. That's deep. Did you think about that all on your own? You didn't have any help? I mean, honestly, come on. What is going on right now? I just seriously am hoping this is a really horrible episode, thing like the Truman Show. I don't think I'd be mad anymore. I think I'd just be like, oh, thank God. We're all just being punked. I'm waiting for like Ashton Kutcher to, pop out. Be like, psych, punked. That'd be fantastic. I don't know. What's keeping me up? Insanity. And this whole issue, Gwendolyn. And my new puppy is quite literally keeping me up. She's a pistol. Ugh, I love her though. Man, she's a little pistol. But it's just getting to where I feel, again, it starts with us. We keep reelecting Nancy Pelosi. We keep reelecting these people over and over again. We need to band together and stop. We need to start listening. We need to start hearing each other. We need to start educating ourselves. We need to start getting involved in city council, in our state representative, in our mayor, in our governor, in ballot measures. We need to make sure that we are always active in city council and, again, voting on every single, again, the state rep, the mayor, because it starts at the bottom. It starts with our community. It starts with our city and works its way up. So, and then we need to stop reelecting these people. Gwendolyn. So, I had posted a video on Clapper, and it was the flag that I got that is the American flag bleeding into Israel flag. And I didn't say anything about it. I just said, I stand with Israel. And then I, posted a video of the flag. And this guy, who I'm pretty sure is just a bot, was like, okay, but why? So I gave all my reasons. And I was like, well, they believe in freedom and they work hard and they respect family and they respect values and they believe in education. And I went on and on. And of course, because I think it's a bot, or again, it's a college student, or it's a Democrat, they were like, well, if you don't like it, get out of this country. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What does me standing with Israel have anything whatsoever to do with Bonnie, to do with me, to do with my relationship with America? They're like, well, if you stand with Israel, you should get out of this country. If you don't like it, get out of this country. And I'm like, if I don't like what? What did I say I didn't like? I said I stand with Israel. It's like, well, you're not a patriot and you don't like this country. If you stand with Israel, you can get out. I'm like, why? How are the two correlated? How are you connecting those dots? How are you getting me standing with Israel with me not liking my country, with me being against America? How are you connecting those dots? Oh, because you're an idiot? Because you're a far lefty that somehow can connect dots with things, imaginary things that don't exist? Guys, get out. That's so gross. Get out. And again, that's what they do. They can't think because they're uneducated, and we promote uneducated. And I am going to say they, because here's the deal. I'm not going to lie to you. If you are a Biden supporter, if you're a true, genuine Biden supporter, I have to draw the line because you are just either, again, insanely, extraordinarily uneducated, which there are some very elderly people who all they do and all they can do is watch CNN. So I can forgive elderly people a lot more because of the fact that they can't really know anymore. Most, not being stereotypical, most, not all, but a lot, the majority of people like 75 and older aren't going to get on the internet and search for the truth. They don't have multiple facets of social media and ways to research right now. So all they can do pretty much is watch CNN. So I get if they're voting for Biden because according to CNN, he is just wonderful. He is Jesus. He has risen. But any other person, I'm sorry, I don't care if you're black, white, I don't care your sexual orientation. I don't care about your color. I don't care if you're rich or poor. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're transgender or gay or bi or pansexual or any of these things. We can talk, we can be friends. I'm not judging you. I'm not even judging you if you're a Democrat, but I am going to judge you if you're a Biden supporter. And I'm going to say with all fairness, you're an idiot and you're uneducated and you have something wrong with you. So I'm uneducated and I'm an idiot about a lot of things. And I can admit that. There are things that I need to educate myself on and I need to read some books and do some research. And so I can admit that I am an idiot about a lot of things. And if you're a Biden supporter, that's just what you are. And I'm sorry, but that's the one thing. It's the one thing. Oh, and being a pedophile, that I am going to judge you on harshly. Because you guys, honest to gravy. Oh my God, I'm going to throw up. My dogs are being so gross. But it's just gotten to that point now where the minute someone's like Biden, I'm like, okay. Clearly you and they think the same about me. So it goes both ways. People think that I'm a Trump supporter, as in I would have rather had DeSantis. Much rather have had DeSantis. But now and I've always thought that Trump should do less talking because he's just sticks his foot in his mouth a lot and he can be obnoxious. And I'm not one of these people that thinks that Trump is perfect. I do not. Don't think he's perfect at all. But I do think that he ran this country very well when he was in office. And I do think that he knows how to fix a lot of these problems. And Biden can't even walk. So I feel like when you have a president with Alzheimer's, and I say this, as you all know, if you listen to my podcast, my entire family has had dementia. So, and I've worked in memory care for 9 years. So I 1000% know what Alzheimer's and dementia is all about. And I have nothing but compassion, deep compassion for those people. And I've said all along that right now, it's not Biden's fault what he's doing and saying. Now, he's always been an asshole piece of garbage, even before he had dementia. But right this moment, it's not the man's fault. It really isn't. Shame, 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 shame on his wife. Shame on his staff. Shame on his family. Shame on his staff. The man needs to relax and lay down. But if you support a dementia patient as president, no matter how that person could be the best president and the best human in the whole world, he could not be a racist, bigoted piece of garbage like Biden. He could be a wonderful human being and have dementia, and you should not be running this country. This isn't a Biden Democrat thing. This is called a mental health, compassionate, logical thing. This is called I have a brain and I have a heart, and I see this man that I can't stand, yet I feel bad for because he's walking around with dementia and no one seems to care, and they're using him. How, again, you think that as a Democrat, you're a good guy when you are taking a person that has dementia and you're using him and using America. That is disturbing on a million levels. I still can't get past the whole thing. California, God, earthquakes keep trying to take you out. Wildfires keep trying to take you out. I think that it's God's way of saying you're a piece of garbage. I can also safely say that if you're from California, I feel the same way. I feel like most of you are garbage, especially Hollywood. 90% of you are garbage, and you're just gigantic, overpaid court gestures. Sing for me, dance and sing. Oh, bravo. Do you entertain the world? And now you think that the sun rises and sets on your ass because you are a court gesture? Good for you. That's real good. I just can't stand Hollywood. It's being shown time after time what a bunch of deplorable cult narcissistic people most of Hollywood is. And California just loves themselves illegal immigrants and killing babies. How has an earthquake and a tsunami or a wildfire not taking this fucking God forbidden state out yet? See, here I go again. I'm getting bitter and I'm getting mean. Again, I'm sure not everybody in California is bad, and it's not their fault that their government is a piece of crap. I live in a state that's equally a piece of crap. And the one above me, piece of crap. That is why I desperately want to move. Oregon is beautiful. Let me just tell you, we don't have tornadoes. We don't have hurricanes. We get some strong ass fucking storms on the coast. And they're only not hurricanes because they're not like sustained winds. But let me tell you, we get some damn ass winds. We may get wildfires. We may get an earthquake. But we don't get tornadoes. We don't get hurricanes. We don't have sinkholes. And we get high desert. We have mountains. We have valleys. We have the ocean. We have forests. We don't have gigantic bugs that, try to eat our faces off, and it doesn't get so humid that you want to die. We have perfect temperatures. We don't get so much snow that we're snowed in and can't move. We have perfect weather. We have every climate and every, like our geography is beautiful. Again, we have greenery and we have desert and we have oceans. We have everything. But do you know what else we have? Democrats. Extreme left Democrats. Again, I have a lot of friends that are Democrats. Love them to death. But I don't want an extreme left. I don't need extreme left. I don't need extreme anything. Extreme anything. Extreme right. Not great either. And for the record, I don't think that Republicans walk on water. Republican politicians are just as bad. They're no fucking better. They talk a big talk, and then the minute they get in office, they do jack shit. So if you are a politician, you're garbage, regardless of if you're an independent, Republican, or Democrat. You're garbage if you are a politician. Republicans are no better. Politicians are politicians, and they're all snaky, shady people. They're a cold-hearted snake. Uh-oh. Don't look into their eyes. Yeah, so I'm not claiming that anybody's perfect because nobody is. We all need to pull our heads out and just start fixing the problem. Stop pointing fingers because we're not going to agree. It's just never going to happen. We are never, ever going to agree on whose fault it is. And frankly, it's all of our faults. We need to be pointing the finger at ourselves because it is on every one of us, myself included. We need to point the finger at ourselves. We contributed to constantly voting for these people over and over again. Maybe you, I know people are going to go, I did not vote for Nancy Pelosi, or I did not vote for Biden or whatever. Okay. But did you actively participate in your state Senate? Do you go to city council meetings? Do you vote on the governors? Do you read your pamphlets and vote on ballot measures? I know I don't always. I know that a lot of times I only vote for the president, or sometimes I'll vote for the governor and the president, usually. But I fully admit I don't always vote for the mayor. So I'm talking to myself. I'm giving myself the same talk. Come on, guys, let's go. But that is, it's essentially our fault. We just need to pay attention. We need to stop yelling at each other and over each other and start coming up with solutions. Come on, Bon Bon. We need solutions. We need action. We don't need reaction. You know what I'm saying? We don't need action. We don't need reactions. We need action. I'm going to make that a bumper sticker, y'all. But I want to move. But I keep hearing about how humid it is in other states. And that it's so humid, or that it is so snowy and icy, or that there's these things called chiggers. I looked them up. They're like these little red mite tick looking things that apparently are real bastards. And then I hear about palmetto bugs, and I hear about sinkholes and hurricanes and tornadoes and the humidity. And I'm just like, damn, I don't want any of that. I'm not up for that. I can't hack it. I cannot hack any of those things. And then I'm like, well, what do we have here in Oregon that somebody would be like, hey, don't move to Oregon? I'm like, nothing. It's pretty great. We don't have any of that shit. I guess we have ticks, but that's not something that they're always trying to like climb on us and bite us. Yeah, you're going to get them, but possibly. But, and like I said, we may get some snow, but not a crazy amount. We may, even if you live in Bend, you're not going to get like you do in Wisconsin and Michigan and shit. We may get heat, but it's not going to be super humid. Again, no tornadoes. And then people are like, oh, you get used to it. What? How the fuck do you get used to a tornado? Are you kidding me? You just get used to it? I don't know that I could get used to that. I just don't think I can. So I thought about West Virginia. I thought about Ohio. I thought about Kentucky. I thought about Tennessee. I thought about Maine, even though Maine is kind of, hit or miss. Sometimes it's Republicans, sometimes it's Democrats, like swing. I even thought about Wisconsin. Wisconsin's freezing cold. But I found some really beautiful, beautiful places. I looked at Missouri, beautiful places. But again, I'm not doing tornadoes, and I don't know that I want to do snow. And all of these places, you're dealing with humidity or snow or tornadoes or all of the above. And I'm like, But West Virginia seems to be a pretty good compromise. So I've really been kind of having my eye on that. I don't know. Again, so many people have moved back that used to live in Oregon, and then they moved to like South Carolina or Tennessee or whatever. And then they moved back here because they're like, dang, it's too hot or too cold or too many bugs or whatever. Then they move back here, and this is where they stay. So, and I love my neighbors and all of that, but I'm also a gypsy, and we were going to get an RV and travel all over the states. I don't really like being in one place for too long. I get bored after 2 or 3 years. I got to move. I'd make a great military army brat because I like moving. I want to see the country. Life is too short to stay in one place. I mean, I know it's stability. People like stability. They like a place to come home to. And other people are like, well, that's why you vacation. You go on vacation so you can see other places, but you can't experience a place in a week. You can't experience an entire new country in a week. It's not enough time to experience the people and the culture. And if you stay in the States, 1 week isn't enough time to experience an entire state and all it has to offer. You know, I want to meet the people and, well, okay, let's be honest. I probably don't want to meet the people because I'm an introvert and I don't really like talking to people, but I still want to watch the people like a weird voyeur and see how people live their lives in that state and what they do and, you know, get out and about. So I'm on the fence. And like I said, I don't want to leave my grandson. I don't want to leave my sons. I wish they could come with me, but then that would mean that their dad and their grandpa didn't get to see them and they're moving away from them. So I end up living my life so that I can make others happy, but it makes me happy to be around my sons and it makes me happy to be around my grandson. That makes me very happy. In fact, it'd make me incredibly unhappy to move and not have them around. And that's why I end up staying. But then I'm like, well, God dang it, I'm 50. And I've wanted to move for a very long time. And I've always end up staying because I want to be around my kids. And I'm not blaming my kids. I'm not putting this on my kids. They didn't ask me to do this. I'm not saying, oh my gosh, I'm forced to stay with my kids and my grandsons. Like I said, I absolutely love my sons and my grandsons. And that's why I want to stay here because I love them, not because I feel obligated. I just want to be around them. But man, I don't want to be in Oregon. I got to move. I'm feeling antsy. I'm very, like I said, I don't like staying in one place too long. I get bored. Got to go. I've always been got to go. My lazy people are like, this is lazy. You've done this, 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 and this. And I'm like, yeah, it's been a lazy day. They're like, oh God, I don't do sitting around very much. I really have to be sick or incredibly tired to lay in bed or like I've never nap. Napping to me is weird. I don't get it. I don't nap. I get bored sitting around. I can do it for a while and then I gotta go. I get antsy. Um, But why did I even start talking about any of this? See, that's the thing. This is probably why I should sit down and why I should nap because then I get brain fog from being tired and exhausted. Oh my gosh, my dog is licking me to death. Um, but I get exhausted and brain fogged. Holy cow. I don't know if you can hear my dog, but she's going bananas. Um, so self-care is important. Probably should lay down and relax, but then things pile up and I have too much to do and gotta stay on top of it. So at any rate, those are some things that have been keeping me up. Some things on my mind. Um, Little on the fence again about making sure that I'm educated on what's going on in the world, keeping myself informed, but not living in the negativity because again, life is short and I don't want to constantly be dwelling on everything wrong right now, everything that's going on in this country and the world. But I also don't want to bury my head in the sand. So I feel like you have to find that balance. Being informed and educated and making sure you are finding a solution, being part of the solution and doing your part by voting and reading the ballots and you know, voting on the measures and participating, but also watching some good old-fashioned animal videos to make you laugh, watching some good old-fashioned, you know, a show that makes you laugh or stand-up comedy or being with your friends or going hiking and being out in nature and um, getting off the phone and unplugging for a bit. Balance, 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 right? That's what everything's about. So I hope you find that balance. I hope that you find your balance between not working too hard, but not being lazy, making sure that you're working hard enough that you're getting that paycheck and tiring yourself out. Because, of course, being tired at the end of the day is probably good. It means our bodies have worked, just like working out. When you're tired, it's like, good. I know my body's been working, and that's what we need to do. We need to keep our minds working, our minds sharp by working, and our bodies, can't be laying around all day. It's not good for our bodies or our minds. So get out and make sure you're doing a balance of working and doing you time, getting out or reading a book, taking a hot bath, going on a walk, playing a board game, whatever it is. Listening to my podcast, right? Anyway, hey, thanks so much for listening to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. Thank you so much. I appreciate you greatly to everybody that is listening. Thank you so much for always tuning in. I genuinely mean it. Have a great rest of your day. Until next time.